great efforts of the Wexford Motor Club to host rounds 3 and 4 of the Alekto Irish Hillclimb and Sprint Championships were rewarded with a weekend of sunshine, just as the opening rounds had been in the west. The southeast could live up to its reputation. Billy White set the pace on the first run of this challenging new course in his Formula Renault. Frank Burns, who had led for a time on both rounds in County Clare, was second. John Donnelly was third, just 1/100th of a second behind the winner of the opening rounds, Chris Houston. By the second run, the big power cars were settled in ahead of White, with Donnelly ahead of Burns by almost a full second, with Houston less than a tenth behind him. Billy would have to settle for 4th place both days, but taking wins in Class 6. Positions remained the same after run 3, until Houston pulled it out of the bag to leapfrog the 2 Pilbeam drivers with the sole sub-60 second run of the day at the very last moment on 4.
You left it right to the last.
Yeah, you don't get much later than that, but yeah, I'd had a few problems in each run. There was some part of the course I didn't get right, so it all came good in the end. I think I got a pretty decent run there.
Was it a hard hill to get power down on?
No, it was just hard to remember the fast bits and have confidence just to keep off the brake pedal.
John Donnelly was doing very well there for most of the day.
Yeah, I feel a bit guilty about that actually, John. John's a good friend, so sorry to have to beat him.
And for Frank Burns also just leapfrogged there at the end. So
yeah,
we
all had a good laugh at the top. He asked me if I'd pulled the rabbit out of the hat, and I said, "What do you mean by that?" And he said, "Well, did you do a 59?" I said, "Yes." So he did actually speak to me after that, so it wasn't too bad.
John Donnelly cracked the 60-second barrier on run 3 Sunday to take the established lead off Chris, but Houston must have held on to 6th gear a moment longer on the 4th run to win by just 3/100ths of a second, making it 4 in a row in this year's championship. Burns gave the car a knock in Sunday practice and was sidelined mechanically for the day, but a hard-charging Russell Stanworth took his 3rd position on the leaderboard. The Formula Opel Lotus driver had been 5th overall on Saturday. That honour went to Ned Doherty in the speed car on Sunday, one better than a 6th on Saturday, for the very competitive newcomer winning Class 3C both days. Former Hillclimb champion Pat Roach was dominant in Class 3B in his space-framed Mark 1 Escort, 7th overall day 1 and 6th on day 2. Brian Curran was deeply involved in the organisation of this event, reaped his reward with 2 class wins in 3C and 8th and 7th places overall in his Peugeot 205 rear-wheel drive. James Bradley pushed him hard, finishing just behind him both days, doing the double in Rally Class 10. The demise of an engine in Clare accelerated the development of a supercharged motor for Willie Barrett's Honda Civic. He did manage to get the power down, recording a 2nd in 3B Sunday. Paul Hamill was 3rd in the class Sunday in his Tiger Avon. Shane Bell had a troubled weekend in the Burren, but was finding his 4-wheel drive Subaru rode over the bumps well in the sunny southeast.
Bumps don't really affect me in this, to be honest. I can travel over anything at distance. Guys will be on about bumps and I go, what bump? So it's set up on rough tarmac shocks, so yeah, it's well able for that, so that shouldn't be an issue for me, so yeah, it's all good.
What kind of power do you have under your right foot?
Depends who's going to see this video.
Everyone, of course.
I have about 500.
Wow.
Yeah, and a good bit of torque, so emphasis on the torque, so it works nice, it's nice now, but I can't, I have to kind of feather it through corners because she just wants to go straight on in the power, so once you get your head around that, she's pretty quick, yeah.
He managed to get around the corners fairly handy in the end for a 9th overall on Sunday, with a 3rd and a 2nd place in 3B. Rory Stevens was so delighted to return to the top 10 on Sunday, now in his space-framed Escort, that he quit while he was ahead on the 2nd run, collecting 2 2nd places in 3C over the weekend. Dara Fay continued his winning streak in Class 1A and made the top 10 on Saturday in the Mark 1 Swift. Ray Cunningham had really enjoyed his local event last time out, so we were delighted to see him on Saturday morning.
When you see weather like this, it's good to be out, even on a hill like this. Great location here in Wexford, so looking forward to it. Yeah.
Did you enjoy the Galway event in Clare?
Did actually. It's a while since a couple of years since I'd done it, and I mean Ballyalbin, while I kind of know it a little bit, it's a great fast, great challenging hill. Really enjoyed it. When we got the weather, sure, hey, and we got 5 runs each day, winner.
Yeah, they did a fine job running it, didn't they?
Yeah, no, Aidan, fair play to them. There was a good team up there, and yeah, no, it was good. Great entries, great location. Even the Guinness was good.
And there seems to be the same kind of eagerness here to get this one going well.
I think like the boys seem to have a fair good setup here. I haven't even seen the hill yet, but sure, that's what the familiarisation run I think is about. Yeah, we get a look at it and see, but even the paddock here, it's great to see a paddock like this, rather than, I know some clubs, you know, they don't have only a side of the road stuff, but hey, it's great when you have a location of this. It's a good social scene as well here. People can chat, help each other out, have fun. That's what it's about.
Yeah, there's kind of a bit more of a local connection this time as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I know, and there's plenty of local competitors here as well, with every sort of make and shape of car. So hey, be good weekend.
Will we see you in any rallies soon?
Yeah, I'm hoping that later on in the year I'm building another car, so we'd see. This is sort of just keep the hand in, keep the license up to date, I suppose, more than anything. But yeah, I suppose the rallying will eventually kick in later on. Hopefully, budget allowing as well.
The hill climbs are great for keeping sharp, though, aren't they?
Yeah, I've always enjoyed them from that point of view, because it's like every quarter second counts in a hill. When you see the class can be split by a couple of tenths, so everything counts. So it's always good to keeps you sharp for sure.
Ray, running on narrow treaded tyres, was second in Class 1A both days after strong challenges from Kenny O'Brien's Nova. Held to third by 500 Saturday and 800 Sunday. Dylan and Philip Whitty shook the Cento establishment on Saturday, with first for Dylan and third for Philip. Mark Halligan, second to Francis Dempsey both days in the West, explained the car swapping we'd observed there.
Yeah, we were kind of comparing cars and drivers, and it was great to give it a go.
And so what kind of questions did you answer?
This yellow one here, the far one, I think is one of the quicker ones. Johnny Murray's car seems to be one of the quicker cars there at the moment anyhow, but we'll see today what happens.
Are you going to stick to your own today?
I will stick to my own today, yeah. He's not letting me in it.
You'd had some issues, and the lads were really good to let you double drive with them, weren't they?
Yeah, they are, yeah. There was issues there over the weekend there in Galway, there was, yeah, but it was great. It's a great spirit in the class.
And do you find there's actually a slight difference in the handling of the Cinquecento against the Seicento?
Yes, I did, yeah, because the Cinquecento don't have power steering, and it feels like it turns in a lot better too. I don't know if that's an issue to do with the power steering or not, but it just feels like it turns in better.
Better turn in or not, he was fastest on Sunday in the Seicento. Johnny Murray was third in the Cinquecento, and finding a major increase in her pace was Quiva White, going well enough to claim second in the class. However, she did struggle with turn in at the tricky junction on the second run and went head on into the bank. Unfortunately, she did hurt her back, but is expected to make a full recovery over the summer. Best wishes to her. Also in the wars was Aidan Courtney. He looks set to continue his form in Class 2. Run 1 Saturday claimed him another win in the class, but his Peugeot 106 became disconnected from the road on Run 2 and rolled heavily. He was a bit shaken up, but came off better than his car, which will take quite a bit of repairing by all accounts. Thomas Sheedy was second to Courtney on Saturday and took the class win on Sunday in his Honda Civic. Joe Clifford finished one behind him each day in another Civic, with the Ford Sierra of Barry Dagg third on the Sunday. It was great to see Peter Boggin back in the competition again, heading for home on his local hill, taking second in Class 3A with his distinctive Mark II Escort. Third in Class 3A was John Kennedy in his Dax Rush. Air Massey was finding the course very bumpy for his Pulsar sports car.
Any of these sort of cars, obviously they're low and they're hard, so very bumpy surfaces, obviously that's not ideal for them, so.
It's good to see him back regularly on the hills, and it sounds like he has plans.
It's a long time since I've done a full season, so for me this is all about it's a good practice year, So.
Do you see a big difference between the hills a few years ago and now?
No, less single seaters, obviously, a lot less single seaters, and ultimately that's what I'm hoping to get back into. But no, other than that, it's all good.
Class 3B is becoming so competitive that some very powerful and well-driven cars aren't always getting into the top 3, despite putting on quite a show. One of these drivers is Mark Carroll with his Calibre Turbo rear-wheel drive Starlet. He's made a few tweaks to the car since we last spoke to him.
Yeah, we did a lot of work with the car. I tried to develop the aero as much as I could on the car. Pretty much it's the same package as I had previously. Little tweaks on the inside, and mainly it's trying to develop the aero on the car to try and give me a bit more stiction on the back of it, a bit more downforce, and it seems to be working. it's hard to know when you're on a hill because it's very hard to get a constant. You need to be in Mondello and make changes and then see how fast or slow you're going based on the changes you make, you know. At the moment it's kind of seat of the pants stuff, but I think it kind of looks cool anyway.
And the engine spec?
Engine spec is pretty much the same. 2 litre Vauxhall Excalibur turbo. I still have 350 horsepower and 340 foot-pound of torque, which is absolutely perfectly fine for me. The car can go far faster than I can drive it, which I've said before. A better driver would make the car go quicker, so there's no point in chasing power. The engine's probably capable of going up to about 400 horsepower on high boost. It's not for me, right, at that sort of boost levels because it's so light. It's quite a quick car, you know, and you have to know where your limits are. And I know that 350 for me is where it's at.
It seems discretion is the better part of valour with so much power on tap. Mark climbed to 6th in 3B Sunday. Mick O'Shea was fastest on scratch times in the historic Class 4 with his MGB GT, but there was a great entry of more vintage machinery for Ken McAvoy in his Riley 12.4, Edmund Cassidy in the Iona Special, and Nick Bennett's Alvis. More contemporary to the MGB GT was Sean Murray's Lotus Elan. As for the world's fastest Indian diners, Siobhan McCann was just getting down to Enda Byrne's 1 min 14 second runs when he pulled a 1:13 out of the bag. They both started determinedly on Sunday, straight in the 1:12s, which would be their fastest runs of the weekend. Enda had it by just over 4/10 of a second, so Siobhan's buying the takeaway again. Sean McNamara was third both days and was getting much closer to the duo's times on Sunday. In Class 6, John Mahon had running issues which ruled him out of the second day in Clare, so he called in the cavalry.
We've got everything done, spent a few bob, got the specialist at it, and it's going very well at the moment. It's going better than the driver probably, but we'll work on that during the weekend.
So it was a rolling road session you did, was it?
Done rolling road with whole shot racing to replace stuff and remapped it on the rolling road. So it seems to be a powerful job. It was definitely worth the exercise.
It's great to see John's car going well again, but there's always some little issue.
Air filter came adrift and I started to smell burning on my way back down, and I didn't know whether to stay in or jump out, but I stayed in and didn't catch fire, so we'll just discard some of it and back to the drawing board then next week.
He was second in class both days and in the top 20. Seamus Anderson was on home turf in his Ford Anglia and continues to take the class wins in 8A. Andrew Purser was second each day and gave us a bit of an insight into the class.
We're in Class 8A, which is 1600 812, so we go out in the second half of the class, or the second half of the run now, so we should be heading out there in the very near future.
Are there many other cars in your class?
There's, I think, 3 of us this weekend, and there's myself and Seamus Anderson for the championship so far, and there's I think a 106 in the class as well today.
So you run as per a rally car in a Hillclimb, is that how it works?
Yeah, so my car would be a Class 10 modified car being a rally, so 1600 812, and then there's some modifications. It's on carburetors rather than injection. Some slight modifications to the suspensions on Bilstein shocks and stuff, but other than that, it's very exciting.
The cars tend to run a little bit heavier than pure Hillclimb cars, but with the class it's the same for everyone.
2 seats and 2 harnesses, plumbed in extinguisher, and just set up. The car is ready to rally.
And the thing is, there must be lots of these cars out there, so this is a great chance to get them out, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. There's plenty of Class 10 cars. They're all eligible to enter, so it's a great way to get the car out and go for a spin, you know.
Helen Byrne was third in the category with a 106 rally on Saturday, and Dara Byrne took the position on Sunday. Class 8B was very competitive each day, with Greg O'Brien's Honda EG6 first, Graham Bradley's Honda Civic second Saturday, Dean Summers popped into second on Sunday in the Civic, Andy Farmer's twin cam was third both days, with all 4 of them within a second of each other on that second day. Liam O'Neill was on the solo run in 9A the first day in his Mark II Escort. It proved he deserved his trophies, holding off Jack Deegan in a 2:05 on Sunday. Christopher Snow was right up the timesheets in his 9B Honda Civic, 11th on Saturday and winning the class each day. It was great to see Alan Kane reunited with his G4 Escort. He took a second and a third place over the weekend. Chris Snow was third the first day, but leapfrogged Kane for second Sunday. Seamus Morris was second in Class 10 in the Darien T90 GTR on both rounds. And Tony Ferris was third in the BMW 3 Series Compact. It was a cracking good weekend of sport in Wexford, and the club must be especially commended for including the local community with the event. Excellent paddock in the sports ground with tea, local cakes and sandwiches available, and a classic car show running alongside the racing on Sunday. With a nearby pub for the prize giving, it's a template for others to follow.